everyone in Lizzie Borden land. Welcome, guys. I see a bunch of familiar faces out there, and we're happy to have you here tonight. We have a very special guest tonight, and we're going to get right to it. His name is Ken DeCosta, and he's a paranormal investigator and's been around the block. Hey, Ken.
Couple of times.
A
Hi, good
couple of
evening.
times. Yeah,
How's everybody tonight?
we're doing great.
Great.
I want to start off for people that don't know you. Just give us a little bit of background about your company and what you guys do.
Yeah, I've been kicking around in the paranormal for about 47 years now, personally. And 14 years ago, we put together a group called Rise Up. And it's an acronym for the Rhode Island Society for the Examination of Unusual Phenomena.
Oh, wow.
So it encompasses a wide range of everything. It's not just ghosts. We're interested in UFO phenomena, cryptozoology, everything that falls under that heading of not being categorized by science. So if it's odd and unusual, we have a group of people that are interested in investigating and documenting, interviewing people, visiting places, going to the locations where it happens. So it's a great group, and happy to be a part of it. And
So what made you?
it's taken us a lot of cool places.
Yeah, what made you want to get into the field?
For me, a lot of people have experiences when they're children or something like that. To me, it was just curiosity about these type of things. I remember as a small child, the first thing was I was really interested in the space program. You know, back when astronauts were actually heroes, they were doing something that was uncharted at the time. And I think that eventually led to what are these other things that are flying around in the air, UFOs, things like that. And starting to get into that, I started reading about other things. And of course, we tell people this was before cell phones and social media and pre-internet. You know, it was the dark ages. But I read as much as I could on these type of subjects, and that eventually led to Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and ghosts. Not so much. I was pretty terrified of the whole ghost thing. I didn't know what to make of that. But I guess eventually all roads lead to that at this point. So to me, it wasn't like a seminal event in my life or anything. It was just a matter of I was really interested eventually in talking to the people who had these experiences and visiting the locations that they took place at.
Yeah, and I want to read you just a little short thing from the book because, yeah, happily you were included. I asked you to answer some questions in my book, and you responded to them happily for me, and they were some
Sure.
great answers. But I did write a little thing about ghost hunting and about how it's become a pop culture. And, like companies would introduce all devices that for like measuring erratic electromagnetic activity, temperature, sound, and infrared light, all to detect ghosts. But even with all the gadgets, ghosts still seem to remain cleverly hidden. And that's like a line from my book. And I watch all these shows, Ghost Hunters, Haunted Collector, they're out there. But you guys never seem, like you see like a little chair move or a little movement of a curtain, or a lot of it's not real to me. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Kind of dealing with a frozen screen here, so hopefully we'll be back.
We're all popping in and out. That's okay.
So we'll continue on. Yeah. I think what had happened here is the idea of paranormal is kind of a cyclical thing, and it reaches its peak in times of social turmoil. And you see that after wars, especially the Civil War, World War One, World War Two, Vietnam. And it kind of makes a comeback because I think people are always looking for something that's bigger than themselves. So it kind of comes back in the public consciousness. But in the early 2000s, it really took off. And I think that with the success of the show Ghost Hunters,
Which came out in 2004, by the way, not too long ago.
right,
I think it was.
2004,
I think
and
so, yeah.
it was essentially just a bunch of normal people, like the rest of us, who suddenly found themselves thrust into the public limelight and investigating these places. And television being a very copycat industry, every network after that suddenly had their own ghost show. And this is the way it is. And then there was a proliferation of that type of thing. And I think people became motivated by that. And then there was the big push of maybe 2008, 2009, where everybody thought, well, we can do that. We'll get our own show. And in a lot of instances, the networks were looking and searching for anybody out there that had the right face, the right attitudes. So that's kind of how that got ramped up. But as far as the gizmos and gadgetry, I think that because we live in an age of technology, it stands to reason that eventually that was going to find its way into the paranormal as well.
Yeah.
And
Would you say there is a difference between these programs as entertainment and then the real hardcore paranormal investigators?
well, it's the thing that probably bothers me a little bit.
We're frozen.
I think people have to look at television through the lens of entertainment because if, like most of us, you went into a place and found nothing, it wouldn't be much of a show. Which is not to suggest that people are faking or making up things, but I think on television they're pretty much instructed to react or overreact to things, to convey that to the audience. But I think that people sometimes lose perspective on it. And my biggest takeaway on the negative sense is that I think because this is, for a lot of people, their only contact with what we do, I think it puts unrealistic expectations on what it is exactly that we're up to and what we do. Because a lot of times what we do is mind-numbingly boring and hours of maybe nothing happening and reviewing evidence. So it's kind of laborious. And
Well, that's
I
the
think
part. Well, I was going to say
yeah,
that's the part we don't see.
yeah, television aggrandizes it because you've got 42 minutes to tell a story, basically, minus the commercials. So everything has to pace a certain way. But I think that, like I said, for a lot of people, that's the only exposure they get. And I think they look at what we do kind of unrealistically. So we always suggest people just take it for what it's worth. It's television, it's entertainment, and it's fine.
Yeah, and they always seem to put people in the dark. You don't need to be in the dark to see ghosts, right?
No, absolutely not. The compelling reason for doing it in the dark, basically doing it at night, there's some practical applications for it. For one thing, everyone's schedule. People who have jobs during the day, they're home at night. So, of course, that fits into everyone's schedule. And the other thing is, at night there's less traffic, there's less foot traffic, there's less extraneous noise, so that's beneficial. So there's some practical reasons for investigating at night, but we see it on TV because it's a plot device. It looks really creepy and spooky and a certain ambiance and everything like that. But interestingly enough, most paranormal sightings take place during the day. If
I
we're
didn't
going to
know
be
that.
completely honest. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about the Lizzie Borden house. Now, how many times have you investigated the house on Second Street?
We have been in there probably about 9 times, starting about 3 years ago.
Wow.
We were invited in. I live about 7 minutes from the Borden house and really never set foot inside of it. And I always thought of the Borden situation as more of a murder mystery than I did the paranormal. Although I had seen a lot about the paranormal reports coming out of it, including some people that I'm very friendly with that had visited, so I took that for what it's worth. But eventually, 3 years ago, we said, well, you know, hey, let's just do this. You know, let's go in and make up our own minds. And I have to tell you that I came away, I had to admit that there is a certain activity that goes on in that house. And, you know, it changed my mind a little bit in terms of, you know, whoever might still remain there.
Yeah, because I know you are really scientific when you go in and set up for your investigation, and I know in reading a lot about you investigating, you're open not only to Lizzie Borden, but for anything really that would happen, like maybe other people that live there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a certain energy that we leave behind no matter where we go. Um, we love to categorize things in the paranormal. Intelligent hauntings, which is when there's acknowledgement and interaction. Residual, where there's just a certain energy that stays behind. Demonic, you know. We like to label things to keep them in good order. In some places, and I think the Borden House falls into it, there's a combination of those things because we were able to record and document interactions with us, responses to questions. And then on the other hand, for instance, you know, we had 5 people there one night. We're all in the basement and we hear footsteps walking on the floor above us. I mean, quite clearly. We've been up in Bridget's room, the maid's room, at the top of the stairs on the 2nd floor. And while we're standing there, we literally, and we're watching the stairs because you can see it from the doorway, and we're hearing footsteps coming up those stairs. That's probably an example of residual energy. It's not that there's someone actually there, but you're kind of tapping into things that happened in the past, which is really interesting because you start getting into theoretical physics as far as, you know, parallel dimensions and things like that. So in the right place at the right time, you can experience those things, and we had a wide array of them there.
So it's Shelley left. I hope she comes back. She actually so Judy Baker said that she thinks it's Abby and Andrew that are still in the house, which I don't know, kind of makes sense to me too. Oh, I'll repeat this. Judy said that she still thinks it's Abby and Andrew that are in the house still, which kind of makes sense to me. And correct me if or let me know your opinion, Ken. I heard that if there's a tragedy or something, maybe the people that were harmed can't pass on more so than maybe the person that did it.
I think the prevailing theory in the paranormal is when a traumatic event happens and there is a release of energy, that it's possible that it can stay behind. This is why I think there's a difference between ghosts and spirits. Really quickly, a ghost to me are these sounds or a sight or an apparition that you see that pays you no mind, doesn't acknowledge you, and you're tapping into events that happened in the past. Like we said, residual type haunt. To me, they're ghosts. Spirits are something different to me. I think spirits exhibit free will and can come and go as they please. They're not trapped in a certain environment or a certain area. So I think, to me anyway, it makes sense to distinguish between that. In terms of who's there, we've never had anybody actually give us a name or identify themselves, to be honest with you, but we've been able to document both female and male presences there. So Andrew and Abby staying behind, I certainly would not rule that out. I can't confirm that, and I can't deny it. But there's no question in my mind that there's a certain environment there.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned. Oh, go ahead, Shelley. Oh, Shelley, you're muted again. Shelley, you're muted again. So you said you heard, I guess, go out and come back in, Shelley. We have trouble with the Rhode Island, Connecticut people because you live in such a rural area, some of you guys. And it's, I don't know, the connection sometimes gets crazy. I don't know if it's we haven't figured it out yet. Maybe it's the ghost haunting our connection.
We're going with that. Why don't we just go with that?
Are you, Shelley, are you back? No, you can't, we can't hear you again. Like, do what you did the last time with your audio, Shelley. Shelley was a tour guide for 18 years at the Borden house. So that's why, we thought maybe, you ran into each other. You got to fix your audio. I don't know what you did something with your audio last time, Shelley. Yeah, Shelley was telling me when she was there, she heard footsteps too. I'd personally been in the Borden house maybe 5 times. And I was on 2 paranormal investigations with Brian Cano. And he did this experiment where we had a mock trial first. So he thought it would like rev up the juices in the spirit world. And then, at night we had the investigation. So the one time that, and I'm a total skeptic and always have been because I've never experienced anything. But Shelley, testing 1, 2, are you back yet? What is going on with you, lady? What happened? Whatever you did to your audio the last time, you, give it a shot. Whatever you did with your audio the last time. Oh wow, both of them. The spirits are here, my people. Oh boy. Okay, so.
I'm
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, so the one time that I was there, I actually heard a baby crying at night. I was in the hallway, and wow, and I was up in the hallway where Abby's
I'm
room
back.
is, and outside in that little nook. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I heard this, and they were doing some EVP sessions in Abby's room. And they were recording it, and I yelled in, "Did you hear that baby crying?" And they said no. But then when Chris played it back, he actually heard the baby crying on the recorder. But it was 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm thinking, and we were all thinking, it's probably not a baby outside anywhere. So that was one thing that happened. And then I was thinking, there was something on the house next door with the well. And
Yeah,
the lady throwing children down a well or something.
A disturbed mother had drowned two of her 3 children in a cistern,
Oh yeah,
literally in the adjacent house to the back.
wow.
And that actually predated the Borden murders. So there is some speculation that those children, because the layout of the entire place has changed, but the Borden house still remains pretty much the way it is. So maybe that's familiar territory. I'm speculating. I'm kind of projecting that a little bit, but there is pretty much no doubt in a lot of people's minds that there is a child presence there, not connected to the Borden family, but maybe something ancillary to that.
Like like some other owner that lived there.
Not necessarily. I'm just talking about the general area because, again, if we're talking about spirits having free will that can come and go in visitation, that may be what people experience there with the children, which is actually encouraging in a way because if they're not trapped there, then I look at that as something positive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Testing 1, 2, Shelley. No. What did you do to your computer before? You need your. I'm not sure what she did the last time to get her sound back. There you
How's
go.
that?
You're in.
Any better?
Yeah, you're back. You're back. Okay.
I was going to ask you, Ken, before I vanished beyond the veil. What do you think about this Frank's box thing? That's a piece of equipment. What uses sound waves
Yeah.
to communicate? Yeah. Do you use that type of equipment in your investigations?
Honestly, I don't because there's a lot of fallacies behind it. It's wildly popular now, and I think that one of the
Yeah.
reasons for its popularity is the instant gratification that it brings because immediately you hear
Yeah.
voices coming out of it. rather than documenting something and then going back and reviewing it. You get it in the here and now, and we certainly we love instant gratification. But when you're scanning radio frequencies, which is what a lot of these things are based on, I think that the potential for false positives um, far outweighs the benefits of it. I would have a hard time, for example, going into a residence, maybe where there's children, a family there, they're a little frightened, something's going on, and basing my conclusions on something that came over kind of a hacked radio. Now, this is not to say, and I realize that people out there that use them say, yes, but I've had amazing results with them. And that may actually be true, but I don't think that I would rest a conclusion on them. If people want to test them to
Yes.
as to their veracity, I know they use them in the Borden house
All the time.
an
Yeah.
Is that
incredible
what they
amount
call
of time.
a spirit box?
Correct.
Frank
Okay.
spot. What kind
Yeah,
of
there are different variations of it.
what kind of equipment do you like to use where you've gotten good results?
A lot of recorders, a lot of digital and analog recorders, which are magnetic tape, old school. We like to use both. Lots of cameras where we can document things. We use some meters to a degree, but it's mostly to measure any kind of fluctuations that occur or over the period of investigation. You know, there's every room has a certain baseline in terms of the magnetic fields and the natural fields. So we do that to try to ascertain whether or not there's any kind of unusual fluctuations that happen. And we take things like barometric pressure, temperature, because we want to try to determine if the environment or a change in the environment somehow affects us in some way, you know, in our own perception. So we try to keep it as simple as possible, to be honest with you, because I'm of the mind that sometimes less is more, rather than, you know, burdening yourself with all this equipment that people are bringing in. I kind of try to decide what works for us.
I kind of think that, like, at times when I was in the Borden house, and when it was a bed and breakfast where we could spend the night and have the whole house to ourselves, um, I used to go in a room and just sit quietly by myself.
There you go.
And I would think that if you're an investigator, that might be the best way, because then,
Hmm.
it's sort of an open, free kind of thing, and like maybe you would feel the energy around you. I don't know. Is that
Yeah.
true, Ken?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that a lot of times we overemphasize the idea that we have to prove these things. We have to document it, we have to prove it, we have to show the world, we have to prove something to the scientific community, who isn't going to believe anything that we put out there anyway, because they'll always find, some fallacy with it.
Yeah.
So I think that it's kind of noble to be able to go in and just put yourself in the same position that people who have called you to come in to try to determine what's going on there. Put yourself in the same position that they're in, because most of the people who have experiences aren't ghost hunting. In the Lizzie Borden house, they may be just staying overnight. They don't have cameras and recorders, but they'll experience something. So I get the idea that we're always trying to document and put data out there and determine what might be considered paranormal, what might be considered evidence. And I'm not, diminishing that in any way. But I just think that there's nothing wrong with just trying to determine what's going on there in a more simple setting, rather than, waving all this equipment around. And the other thing, I think, as an investigator, I think an over reliance on technology, it can kind of make you a little lazy too, which is not to say, hey, keep using it, keep developing it, that's fine. But for me, I kind of like to be unburdened by a lot of that.
Yeah, less to carry too, right?
I want
Yeah,
to.
there's that, and but I'm just I want to document that experience, but I don't mind having an organic experience.
Do you find that when people come to the
Yeah.
house, know the story,
Hmm.
that they're predisposed to want to find something, they're already psyched up and tuned in. I've had to walk guests to the bathroom because they've been afraid to go upstairs. So they're already wired to have an experience before they even step over the foot,
Yeah.
the tread there in the front door. Does that kind of energy of expectancy feed into some of the things they might have happen to them? I've wondered. I've
Yeah,
seen a lot of it in action.
yeah, I think if you approach, we'll talk about the Borden house in this regard, but I think that it's applicable to just about any place that has some kind of a history or a background in the paranormal. I think that confirmation bias is something that you have to fight with these type of things. And even as long as we've been around, I mean, we have to come to grips with that ourselves. We might go to a place like the Borden House where there has just been, literally thousands of reports of things happening there. And it's easier said than done sometimes, but I think you have to check it at the door and you have to go in as unbiased and objective as you possibly can. Because oftentimes in the paranormal, we love to label everything as paranormal. It could be, very easily explainable. But I think what happens is we get caught in the weeds on that sometimes rather than focus on the smaller percentage of things that are inexplicable. We tend to group everything in there and pay a lot of attention to things that are probably explainable. A place like the Borden House, yeah, I mean, it's hard. You don't want to minimize anybody's experience there. I wasn't there, and if something happened to you, then that's all well and good. But I think it does tend to maybe cloud people's judgment a little bit, or in some cases, and this is done very unconsciously, people just want to be a part of the story there. If everybody that's ever gone there has had an experience,
Mhm.
it's kind of in our nature not to want to be left out. And it's not to say that you're making something up, but you tend to overreact maybe to certain stimulus that's there because you want to have a story too. I mean, it's just human
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah, one of my favorite paranormal shows, I don't know, tell me if it's one of my favorite, came out in July of 2010 on Sci-Fi. It was called Fact and Fake: The Paranormal Files, and
Yeah.
it comprised of a former FBI agent, a lead scientist, a journalist, an effects specialist, a photography expert, and a stunt expert. And
Hmm.
what they did, they would go out and investigate something like the Loch Ness Monster,
Right.
and they would try to recreate the Loch Ness Monster themselves. And that famous photo, they would try to put something in the water and see if they could come up with that. And so they would, go to these places, and if it could be replicated, then they would say, well, it's probably not anything paranormal. But some
Hmm.
places they went to, they couldn't do it. So they would maybe say that it was. I love that show because they really got down and hard in the science.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you, with the Lizzie Borden house, now you've been at Maplecroft too. Was that a different experience for you than the Borden house?
Much more so. Um, if I had to lean heavily toward, where do you think is the most active place? I would probably lean toward Maplecroft based on the experiences we had there. Our approach was much different than most. For one thing, we never went in at any time and said we were trying to elicit a confession from somebody. And I think that's what everybody does, confess, Lizzie, tell us you did it. And we never took that tack there because we kind of respected that the events that took place there for what they were. So, for example, we would always, if we're doing questioning, EVP work, using recorders, we would address her as Lisbeth rather than Lizzie because she preferred that. And we made it clear that we're not here to relitigate a court case from 100+ years ago, but we wanted to know about her work with animals, her work with the church, and kind of round out the personalities of these people. Andrew was a businessman, you know, Abby in a difficult situation where she married into a family where the daughters, you know, Emma and Lizzie didn't really much care for her. So we wanted to explore a different part of their lives, and not just the events that took place in August of that year. And we found that that bore great results more so at Maplecroft, which is, by the way, just one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been inside. I have to tell you, I mean, we've investigated Newport mansions here, and I think Maplecroft, in its own sort of Victorian age way, is the equal to a lot of the more grandiose, you know, places that you would see mansions in Newport. But I think Maplecroft bore us better results, and because we had less prior knowledge, Shelley was alluding to that. I think it was a better experience for us because we came in with no expectations,
I'm
and
in totally unbiased. What part of Maplecroft did you get the best results?
the front parlor and the
Mm,
pantry, the breakfast area, just before you entered the kitchen.
the kitchen, yeah. And was
Yeah.
it a feminine energy?
The crazy thing about it, when we're talking about EVPs, it's something we don't hear, but we can record. In the case of the breakfast nook, we were just having a conversation, our video specialist and myself, and then in the corner of that very small room, we just hear a woman talking to us. Out of the clear blue, we hear mama, 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 and we're looking at each other like, what the hell was that? Literally in the corner to my right when I was sitting in one of the chairs. So I said, okay, well, that's interesting. So those were
What
the
were they
two
saying?
places. We
Yes.
have no idea. We recorded the voice. I have the recording of it. But it's one of those things that I couldn't say with any certainty what was being said to us. I don't know if we tapped into a conversation from 100 years ago or maybe they were addressing us. I honestly could not tell you. So in terms of that, it remains pretty subjective. But nonetheless, that voice was absolutely there in the room with us, and it's kind of shocking.
Well, she had a lot of servants, maids and such, all
Hmm.
women. Did you ever feel that you were in the presence of Lizzie herself, or her energy was with your group
It's
specifically?
hard to it's hard to say. I would have to go by just being kind of intuitive about it because I'm as psychic as this camera that I'm staring into right now. I just don't have that gene in me, although there are people who swear it's like, Ken, you have this ability, and it's like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever, if you say so. I would have to say in that particular house, yes, because we at one point were talking about, and this is why we do a lot of historical research, it's the background of what we do. We were having a conversation asking questions about a fence dispute she had with a neighbor back then. And we had read about that. So we decided to bring up that topic. And a woman's voice comes in and says, fencing, on one of our recordings. So apparently we were engaging someone, and it wasn't random because whoever it was, this female in spirit, was quite on topic. So I guess one can make the assumption, who else could it be, right?
Hmm,
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
that is. Of the two properties, you feel the more interesting one was Maplecroft, and
Yes.
your results were better at Maplecroft.
Hmm.
Uh, do you think that there's so much activity going on at the Borden House on Second Street that it sort of pollutes the environment with too much going on? Um,
You know, Shelley, that is such a great question. And the best way I can answer it is to go back, take myself back 3 years ago on our first visit, where we had predetermined we were not going to talk about the murders, the trial. We weren't going to relitigate anything. And as we went in and introduced ourselves and set up our recording equipment, we made it very clear that we understood that we're not special, and literally hundreds, if not thousands, of people have been in here asking you questions
the same
about
thing.
this and that and the other thing. So we wanted to kind of establish ourselves as somebody who was taking a different approach right from the get go. If you're not willing and capable to speak to us or interact with us, then that's fine. We wish you nothing but the best. We wish you peace. But we did not want to be lumped in with the same people all the time that are literally asking the same questions all the time. So yeah, if there's an intelligent entity there, it's not out of the realm of possibility to suggest that, in plain terms, they're sick of hearing it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
I
and what?
mean, if these are what
Yeah.
we like to call intelligent spirits who acknowledge us and they have free will and have maintained their character and personality even in death, then I have to, like, ask myself how I would feel. And after, 40 years of this type of thing, yeah, I would be like, I've answered this question. We've been there, we've done that. So this is why we took a different tact. We didn't talk about murders. We didn't talk about any of that stuff. We talked about, like I said, Lizzie's work in the church and with animals, Andrew's
Mm,
businesses, etc., and so forth. We just wanted to take a different tack toward this instead of the what you would usually expect there.
So just have an interesting conversation in the presence of the spirit energies, see if it
Yeah,
elicits their interest or response.
yeah.
yeah.
BB is
Why not?
saying, yeah.
Why not? Why not? I mean, no
It,
one has ever showed me a recording of Lizzie saying, "Okay, I've done it. I confess." I haven't heard any of that yet. So, if there's
Well,
anybody there, even if someone was capable of a heinous act, nonetheless, there is still more to them than just what
well, I,
happened in Crime of Passion one day.
and in investigations too, everybody's Lizzie, Lizzie, Lizzie wants to talk to Lizzie. I think the person that I would want to talk to is Abby because she apparently, supposedly saw her killer.
Hmm.
So why wouldn't she let us know, like, who it was in this world?
Yeah, if there was some unfinished business and your killer was acquitted
Yeah.
and was left to go free, inherited money, bought a place like Maplecroft, which is an interesting place because Lizzie was pretty much ostracized by proper Fall River society, but yet she decided to buy this house right in the middle of the Highlands, which is Fall River's version of old money. That's where people with political influence and financial influence would go to live on the hill overlooking the water. And she plunked herself right down in the middle of those people because she always wanted to live there. And I guess there was a part of her that says, "I'll be damned. I don't care what you think of me. I'm gonna live right here." So kudos to her. Kudos to her. That day, to me, that's not just a strong woman. That's that's a strong person
Yeah.
to make that decision. But we just, again, maybe it's great that we got to it so late and had seen so much before us that we were able to say, you know what, we don't want to do that. And it seemed to bear fruit for us. It paid off for us because we left there with like a lot of data that eventually turned into evidence. So I'm
Wow.
happy about it.
Yeah. Shelley, were you going to say something? Because,
will you ever be publishing a record of all of the material that you got at both of those properties for the
Oh
public?
yeah.
to read all of it, the results of
Yeah.
the investigations. And you have an
It
idea when that could happen?
It has happened, and in fact, it's why I'm leaving you folks early tonight because we have a show that I'm doing of our own called Dead Air. It's on a YouTube channel called Dead Air Full Spectrum, and on the Dead Air Full Spectrum page, if you just scroll down a little bit, you will see a playlist called Investigations. And in those investigations are full documentaries that were professionally done of our investigations at the Lizzie Borden house and Maplecroft, amongst others. So, Shelley, they're already out there for people to see.
Okay, we'll be linking those on our.
Ken, any thoughts on energy following you home from a location with a known activity? That's from Holly.
Me personally, no. I do not believe, Holly, that I have ever had anything follow me home, which is not to say that it hasn't happened. It's the same when people say, have I ever encountered something demonic? I don't believe I ever have in the years that I've been doing this.
Thank God,
I
right?
think yeah. I mean, now listen, I don't mean to curse. I mean, it could happen next week or next month.
Well, wait a minute. You're going to the Conjuring house, so you never know.
Yeah, that's around Halloween, but I've been there before, and nothing had happened. I think that to me, a lot of people take precautions and things like that, and to each their own. If you want to say a prayer or however you prepare yourself, I prepare myself in a different way, nothing ceremonial.
Yeah, let
But
me.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you something about the whole demonic thing.
Sure. Yeah.
There's John Zaftis, of course, you know him, and a lot of people don't, but he's like a major hitter when it comes to demonic, paranormal stuff, and he even has up at his house he has art.
The museum.
Physical,
Yeah.
the museum where he
Right.
contains I don't know how to explain it. He contains the spirit under glass in some objects that they attach themselves to. Like, it's a crazy thing. But there was recently on the Discovery Channel about the Lizzie Borden, a group that went into the Lizzie Borden house, and they were doing this seance, and it looked like there was some demonic thing happening, and the guy was getting possessed, and he was like acting crazy, all wild and frenzy, and give me your thoughts about that. That honestly, I thought it was a real hoaxy kind of thing, but talk about possession and demonic and.
Well,
How common is that?
not as common as everyone would like to think. I think we have to understand fear. Listen, fear sells. This is why you see so much of it on TV. If given the choice of doing a show where people go in and try to find grandma who's come back to say hello to the family, or finding an evil demon that I don't know if Satan has anything better to do than hide in your closet and wait for you to come home. But if given the choice, they'll always choose the evil route because that's what people want to see. The idea of demonic hauntings are so rare. This is why we still talk about the case that the movie The Exorcist and the book The Exorcist
Yeah.
was based on in St. Louis. That was in 1952, I believe, and we're still talking about it. We are going to talk to a bishop on our show tonight who has
Yeah.
done 30 of
Wow.
them in the years that he's been doing this. Now, I have never encountered something demonic, I don't believe. Aggressive, evil, mean, yes. But other people have 3 a month. And I don't know how to reconcile that. But when you see something on television where someone is acting possessed, there is probably a really good chance that that exactly is what is happening there. I think you may be looking at some performance art there.
Oh, thank
and,
you. Yeah.
I'm sorry to say it. I'm not. Well, no, I'm not sorry to say it.
Thank you.
I'm just giving you my perspective on it. I think a lot of it is performance art for the sake of getting people to pay attention to you, and what better way to do it than something extreme? It is not the same as saying evil does not exist or the demonic does not exist. I'm not going to go that far because, as much as I've studied it, there are some really compelling cases out there. I mean, really compelling cases. But whatever's happening here, I doubt seriously if we're going to see it on YouTube or Twitter or
Yeah.
TikTok.
And I really respect you for saying that, because there's a ton of it out there, and one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on the show is to debunk a lot of that. I feel that you're a credible researcher. You have your own podcast on Dead Air. I got to put the link up then. It's a great podcast. I've watched it a few times and I'm just like sucked into it. And I'm not a paranormal person, but it's fascinating. And tonight, like, he has a guy on that has performed exorcism.
Yeah.
So
He is a certified exorcist
Yeah.
for the Old Catholic Church, to the United States Old Catholic Church, Bishop James Long. He has performed 30 of them.
Wow.
And we love having him on because he's so candid about it. It's like, before I even step foot in a place, we have people physically and psychologically evaluated, because I'm not going to step into a hoax or some kind of psychological issue that someone has, because then they need to see a psychologist, not an exorcist.
Yeah.
And I love that attitude, that you're not playing into this for the sake of bringing yourself attention, because what you could be hearing is a cry for help from somebody, and the kind of help they need is not something that a ghost hunter is going to be able to give them.
Yeah. So Ken, I mean, we're coming up on 7:50. I know we got to let you go. We could talk to you for hours.
I could stay for hours. The producer of our show is probably freaking out right now.
Oh, well, but I'm going to give them the information.
If he's listening, Bill, I'll be right there. I'm talking to these two lovely, lovely women here, and
I have so many.
I'm not in a.
I wanted to talk to you about Ouija boards and what do you tell people who say,
So-
didn't you
so-
let
Oh,
them
boy.
rest in peace? There's a whole podcast right there.
So let me ask you
There you
right now.
go.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Would you come back for like a part 2 when you have some time?
I would absolutely love to
So
do
we can
that.
talk
That would
about
be
the
great.
Ouija boards and stuff like that, because we're
which have been used extensively at the Borden house, and I would be more than happy to come in as that relates to that and talk to you about that. It would be a pleasure to do it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put the information up for your show too, because I actually love it. I think it's a great podcast.
Well, thank you.
Something like I never thought that I would be watching, but I'm watching. So.
Or something that I never thought that I'd be doing at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But we want to thank you so much for being on the show, Ken. We really enjoyed having you on, and have a nice holiday, because I'm sure we won't see you until probably after the holidays. But
Yeah, I'm going to be like totally ninja-like here in the next 2 weeks with everything going on. But rest assured.
Oh,
What's
and I'm
that,
looking
Shelley?
forward to seeing the Conjuring house. That's on the Dark
Yeah.
Zone, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's going to
Dark
be
Zone-
really interesting.
Dark
Shelley,
Zone
he's
live
bringing
event.
the original family that lived in that house is going. They're doing a homecoming,
The
and they're going to
parents,
go in
yes.
together.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be there on the 30th on Saturday night with a bunch of other people who, unlike me, are paranormal celebrities. So it'll be interesting to spend some time there. I have not been. Well, we'll save it. I'll tell you about my first experience at the Conjuring House in 2010 before it was actually a thing.
That would be
10 years
great.
or so.
That would really be great. We're looking forward to that.
Rest assured that if you call, I will respond. I would love to come back with you folks. This has been fun.
It has.
Thank you so much, Ken.
See you again, I hope, very soon.
Yes.
All right. To everybody,
good
all
show.
your listeners, happy Halloween to you. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you
Yep.
for having me.
All right, Ken. All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Rena, I just saw Rena pop on. Hey, Rena, come back.
Not.
Come back.
Back to us.
So,
So,
I hear an
I hear
echo.
an echo.
Oh no. Oh, there I am.
There you are.
Is that Rena?
Is that Rena?
Yes,
Rena,
can
turn
you
your
hear me?
speakers. We hear an echo.
We hear an echo.
All right. I might have to just figure out an audio solution. So I'll be right back. then.
Yes.
All night it's
All
been
night
like
it's
this.
been like this.
Shelly, it's been like
Shelly's
this
been
all
like
night.
this all night.
Like, I'm still hearing the echo. Oh, now it's gone. All right.
Now you're good.
Yeah. So we did a blooper on the intro, and then we couldn't get your audio going, and now oh my gosh, it's Halloween, everybody.
I think it's possessed. That's what's wrong.
Something's going on.
Someone call the exorcist on this podcast.
So
But
don't you
wow.
love Ken? I mean, he's full of information.
Yeah, he is. I like his approach too. He seems to be a really serious guy about how he goes about it, and very humble. So I'd never met him before.
Yeah.
It was great. We had a few moments to talk to him. Holly says Mercury must still be in retrograde. Oh, here's Rena. I
Hey,
got my
Rena.
Can you
teeth
hear
up.
me now?
We're ready
Yeah.
for it. Yes.
Oh, we're good. We're good. No echo. No echo.
I'm using
Earbuds.
AirPods because
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what happens. Yeah, good, good.
I forget after 2 months. That was fascinating. I really loved listening to Ken. He had so much interesting information to share.
I know I could talk to him for hours, and we didn't even like get into the grit of it. Really, we just touched a little bit.
Warming up.
No.
I mean, he's been to so many places that he could tell you like story. I mean, he's just such a fascinating person. And the Conjuring House is huge. It's huge that he's going there. I would be scared at my jeebus.
Me too. Yeah.
So, Rena, you bring us tea. Let's talk
I
tea.
do. I created some Halloween cocktails and mocktails to share tonight. One of them was not my initial design. It actually came from the Sipology company, but then I modified it to, number one, the alcohol that I had in the house, and number two, my taste. So yesterday I spent a fun afternoon in the kitchen playing mad scientist with my drinks. So we have two different drinks today. Do you want to start with the alcoholic or the non-alcoholic?
Well, let's go non-alcoholic and then move into the alcohol.
All right. So my non-alcoholic beverage today, which I'm calling Love Potion number 9, it is a sparkling cocktail. So it gives you that champagne look and feel, but with no champagne.
Kate
and
says
it's a
hi,
very
Rena.
sweet drink. Oh, hi, Kate. Yeah, I can't see any comments. I can't see anything. I can't even see you guys. You're frozen on my screen, but...
All right.
Happy Halloween. Something's creeping with us tonight. So this is one of our magical fruit teas. This one happens to be my favorite one. It's cotton candy fruit tea. What makes these teas magical is they're made with butterfly blue pea flower. And I'm not sure if you've ever tried a tea with butterfly blue pea flower before.
Never.
But it brews a blue to purple color. And I pre-made them. So this is the color of it naturally. It's an all-natural color change. And the neat thing about butterfly blue pea flower is when you add acid, which in this case could be lemon or lime, or tonight we're just using ginger ale. Believe it or not, ginger ale does work. Not as well as lemon, but it does work. It changes the color, so it goes from more of a purple. I brought a white piece of paper so you can see that purpley color. It goes a little more pink, and some of them they brew more blue, and then they turn more purple. So for tonight's Love Potion number 9, I have a sparkly little champagne glass that I'm going to use, and I'm going to pour about halfway with my cotton candy magical fruit tea. This is caffeine free. I could actually read you the ingredients for any of the viewers at home who are curious what's in it. It is 10 calories for a full serving, and we're going to do about half of a serving. It's made with papaya pieces, apple pieces, mango pieces, butterfly blue pea flower, strawberry pieces, and natural flavor. Sipology won't tell us every single ingredient because it's a priority. Ooh, can't talk tonight. Someone else say it.
Yeah.
Recipe, but anything that's an allergen is definitely listed. They just keep some of the essential oils that they add secret so other people can't copy their recipes. So this one tastes to me like a carnival. It tastes like kettle corn mixed with cotton candy.
Oh.
Pink cotton candy specifically. Some people say it just tastes like cotton candy. And so what I did to make it is I used one of my teapots. This happens to be the Prism Stovetop Safe teapot. So you can put this right on a live flame. It's so pretty with a flame underneath. You would put it on without the metal hardware. Boil the water, and then you just put your tea in the infuser. And then put it on like this and let it brew that way. So, can you still hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yep.
there's a weird buzzing in my earphones.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know what that is.
my phone.
Oh.
It's buzzing.
Okay.
Hear it too. Technical difficulty.
All right. So now I'm using, these are the brew and serve bottles, which are actually part of the kombucha making collections with Sipology. I know nothing about kombucha, but I do love these bottles. They're great for pre-making drinks and making cocktails. So I'm going to pour it about halfway with my pretty little purple beverage. And then I'm just going to add ginger ale. Ginger ale happens to be a very acidic kind of soda, but that I find is delicious, and I love it. It's my usual soda drink. It's helpful on a sour stomach. It's helpful just for just enjoying it. And I'm going to add it, and as I add it, you're going to notice that it turns more pink. It's going to turn a lighter color, and it's going to turn pinker. And I'm going to hold up that paper, and then I'm going to hold it up next to my bottle. So let's see.
Oh, that looks nice.
You see that?
Yeah,
So
it's rosy.
here's my purple
Oh, wow.
and my pink. You see the difference in the
Yeah.
color? So these are fun teas. You can make ice cubes out of the tea or ice cubes out of lemonade, and you can have fun with kids and like little science experiments. But here now we have a bubbly cocktail that is sweet. I should have said mocktail because it is alcohol free, which I'm sure Lizzie would appreciate. So that is our first drink for tonight. I did
know
send
about that.
what?
I don't know about that. Emma would appreciate it. I think maybe Lizzie likes.
You think Lizzie?
every now and again.
You think? Well, she was part of the temperance movement, though, wasn't she?
They all were, but when she got up to Maplebrook, I gather there was a little reception.
Partying going on.
I did know about the parties with the actress, right? What was the
Yeah.
actress's
Oh,
name?
look at you.
Yeah.
I read your book.
Yeah, but that's pretty impressive.
That's how I remember things, is because I read it. Because I really didn't know much about the Lizzie Borden case before I read your book, Kimbra. So I really
Oh.
enjoyed that.
Oh,
So
thank
that's
you.
Love Potion. You're welcome. It's a great book. That's Love Potion number 9, a nice holiday mocktail, both for Halloween, or you could bring it back for Valentine's Day. Good for kids, good for adults, good for anyone. But now, onto the fun. Wahaha. So I'm actually using a tea tonight that is an exclusive tea for this month through Sipology. It is called Frankenberry Midnight Brew, and it is only available. It's only available as a customer exclusive. So if you purchase $65 worth of tea products, and the holiday products are out, there's a lot of stuff out now. You can add this to your cart for, I think it's $19 and a little bit of change, and it comes with, first off, this cute little monster tin. You get a full bag of this fruit tea, which, listen to these ingredients. Elderberries is the number 1 ingredient in this tea. I think that's just so neat. It's made with apples, saxatoon berries, black goji berries, turmeric root, which I love turmeric. Great.
Isn't that good for your joints or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Inflammation. It's an anti-inflammatory.
Oh,
I
there
also
you go,
find
Shelley.
it's helpful.
You and me.
I like that.
It's helpful for my stomach. I have acid reflux issues, so this morning I drank a ginger turmeric tea because I find it settles it, and then I don't need to take medication. So it has saxatoon berries, which I'm not actually sure what they are, black goji berries, turmeric root, butterfly blue pea flower. You're going to see there's some coloration in this. Again, natural coloration. Currants, blueberries, pomegranate arrows, and then natural flavors. And not only that, along with that, you also get this absolutely super cute little monster tea infuser. So you can see there's a little smiley, and then look, you turn him around. Oh, grumpy monster. Smiley monster.
This is going to
Grumpy
be
monster.
a hot tea, right? This is hot.
I made it hot initially, but right now I took another one of my brew and serve bottles, and I put it in the fridge. I made it in advance so it'd be all ready. But take a look at that color. That's
Wow.
a tea color. So really perfect for making Halloween cocktails. And since this is Frankenberry tea, we are going to make a Frankenberry midnight cocktail. And I started off by filling my glass with some nice little body part candies, which, Kimber, you know who I got these from. This is Candy Club, Missing Body Parts, and I got it from Brooke Jeremiah.
Oh,
who has
right.
Brooke's Nook.
Oh, good for Brooke.
She has so many cool things, and she's branched out into candy, and I just thought this was perfect for Halloween drinks.
We have a lot of artists and vendors here on Staten Island and off Staten Island. And we like sort of buy each other's stuff. Like,
We do.
I think I might get a Frankenberry tea thing. That sounds so cool.
It's really good, and in this cocktail, it is out of this world. It's sweet. It's more like a sweet tart because it's sweet and it has a tart finish. And it's we perfected the recipe yesterday, trying a whole bunch of them before we got the balance just right for what we wanted. So I'm using a shaker set that's actually something that you can earn as a host exclusive for Sipology. It has the little measuring cup, it has the spoon, a muddler, and the shaker itself. So it's really convenient because now I have a measuring cup, which I love. And in this recipe, it uses 4 ounces of our Frankenberry tea. So I'm going to start off by adding that. You don't need to ice this at all. You can just, you can actually use it hot if you want it. I think it works better as a cocktail with at least the tea cooled. It doesn't have to be cold, but cooled tea. And now you're going to see my back as I pour. So let me try and do it a little bit out.
So isn't like the berries like antioxidants or something? So they're good mixed with the turmeric would be like really good for you, right?
Elderberry, I hear like people always talk about if you're not feeling good, have elderberries. I've never had elderberries, but before this tea, but I think it's cool. I should really look up what the benefits are. I am no doctor, but I do like natural and herbal remedies for thing over medication where possible. So there are my 4 ounces. This, by the way, this recipe is designed to make only 1 serving, so just double it if you want to make 2 glasses. So 4 ounces of
Kate. She'd rather drink it straight up from the bottle. I'm not sure if she's talking about the alcohol or the
vodka. Yeah. So I'm now going to add an ounce
look at
and a
that
half.
bottle of vodka.
Here it comes.
That's my kind of girl.
My husband keeps
Feel
this in our
better.
freezer. Sorry, Shelley, I couldn't hear you.
So no wonder it's good for your knees. You forget after a while.
Well, it's only an ounce and a half. Well, all right. This one is harder for me to pour. I'm going to have to put it down to do it.
Yeah, like when you do the ounce and a half, you sort of tip it a little bit more, right?
Well, I use this side, which is the ounce, and I pour that in, and then I'm going to use the other side, which is a very convenient half ounce.
Oh,
And
okay.
so this little measuring tool is pretty neat. Next is lime juice. Now, because this tea does have butterfly blue pea flower, it is going to change the color from that rich midnight purpley color. And we're also going to add grenadine. So it's going to become more of a blood red color. Yes, grenadine in this recipe. So it's half an ounce of lime juice. Fresh lime is always better, but I'm also very lazy, so I always use bottled lime because it's in my fridge and it's easy to do. And then between a half and 3/4 of an ounce of grenadine. 1 ounce was too much and half wasn't quite enough. So I'm going to add half an ounce and then I'm going to add half of the half an ounce. And that's my recipe. Now, the original recipe called for blue curacao, and I did include it. I sent a post to Kenny, so you should actually have a little graphic with this recipe on it. It has blue curacao as an optional ingredient. I didn't own any. I left it in because the original recipe did call for it, but this recipe
I don't even know
it,
what that is. I've never heard of that.
It's a blue alcohol. Where is my lid? Here is my shaker.
Oh, a blue alcohol. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
there
now
you go.
just shake it up. Which yesterday I did not close this thoroughly, and I ended up with this drink all over me. fun escapades. And here's my lovely little glass of Monstery Bits. And take a look at that color, how different it is. So yeah,
That's
this
nice.
recipe.
Is that an eyeball?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's a
Yes.
gummy eyeball.
Ooh,
And
So
a finger's
it is
in
a-
there too.
Yep, there's an eyeball. There are a couple of fingers. There's a shin bone or some other kind of bone.
That's
And
great.
so this is the Frankenberry Midnight Cocktail. Again, I guess it's not midnight anymore. This was the original coloring,
Yeah.
and this is what it ends up with. Now, the grenadine does make it more red, but it was also lightened by the fact that there's lime juice in it. And it is a sweet tart beverage. This is really good. So,
Oh.
my husband doesn't like things too sweet, and he gives the thumbs up on this one.
Oh, good.
So-
yeah, I don't like super
Yeah.
sweet either. Good. But the
Yeah.
finger, oh my God.
Is that?
Kimbra, next time we got to make the cocktail so we can all toast each other. Of course, we
Oh,
want
Yes.
Right. Right. So we
Yeah.
would have to get the ingredients beforehand.
Yeah, well, because, I wish there was, like, smell-o-vision and taste-o-vision, because I get to enjoy this cocktail now, but you just get to watch me enjoy it. So
Yeah, so that's our enjoyment, watching you enjoy it.
Looks refreshing.
It's
Yeah.
really good. And if you have a Halloween party, it's a really great, interesting, unique drink that also is not too high in calorie.
Yeah.
The grenadine obviously has some calories. What does grenadine say? It's 90 calories for 1 ounce. So we're using less than 90 calories for that.
I wonder how many
Vodka-
calories for the eyeball.
I could probably tell you that, because the nutrition facts. Serving size is 4 pieces. I did put 4 pieces in the glass.
Uh-huh.
So that is, where's the calories? 100 calories. You could
Yeah.
always just skip. So the eyeball is 25 calories.
Maybe you take one eyeball out or something.
Yeah. So, and you know, you don't need to even eat the gummy
True.
things. It could just be for show. But they are perfectly okay to eat. They're actually
Yeah.
really tasty. I had a finger yesterday.
Oh, they're like gummy bears, right?
They're just gummies. That's
Okay.
all they are. So, and maybe we could put Brooke Snook's little thing. She has other candies also, but yeah, there's a finger.
Yeah.
There's an eyeball in here.
She always has some really interesting things.
Oh yeah. So again, this tea is only available this month, and it's a customer exclusive. So you would order other things, which I'll show you some of the cool stuff you can get that wasn't available before October 1st. And then you can add it for $19, and you get our little like monster infuser who
Yeah.
looks like he's taking a bath or like swimming in a pool when you put him in the cup. When I first brewed this, I'll send you a picture that I had, but because that upper body sits above the liquid, so he just
Yeah.
looks like he's kind of floating and chilling there. It's really adorable. You get the tea tin and you get the tea. So on October 1st, our holiday collection came out, which if you're start looking for gifts, I know it's a little early to think about it, but in retail, it's never too early to think
Yeah,
about
Kenny, you
gifts.
can make the big screen. There you go. Now we can see it.
Yeah. Cool. And so
Oh.
there are some great things, but I just got on Friday, I got my order in, and this is what I wanted to show.
I love that.
If you,
I do love
yeah.
it. Yeah. I know, sample box.
it's a sampler
Yeah.
box. It is also an advent calendar, if that's your thing. I'm Jewish, so it's just a sampler box to me. But I do play along and drink one a day during the month of December, along with a bunch of my friends, and we have like a whole tasting thing. But it is 24
Look at
different
that.
teas. In a gift box set, it has a cool magnetic clasp, and each one of
Wow.
these teas is featured from the fall catalog, including all of the holiday exclusives that have holiday macchiato puer, which tastes like you're eating a gingerbread cookie and sipping a little bit of coffee every so often. Like, that's what that tea tastes like. There's maple, I should find it. There's a maple cinnamon waffles rooibos tea.
Oh my God.
And rooibos, I believe, may have been popular in the U.S. around the Victorian era. I know herbal teas were, but no, I might be wrong. It is a South African plant. It's not made from the tea leaves. But each one of these tins contains 2 or more cups of tea, and some of them can be brewed multiple times. So what I just unearthed, I can see it's a green tea. This is, I can't read upside down today, winter mint green tea. It shows you, I don't know if you can see in the little hole, it shows you the ingredients. It shows you how much time you brew it, how much you use to brew
Oh,
it. And
yeah.
how many,
Okay. Right. I see that. Yeah.
and how many times you can brew it. This tea can be brewed 3 times. You could take the same tea leaves and make 3 cups of tea out of
wow.
1 cup's worth of tea leaves. So that's 6 cups of tea minimum out of this little tin. And it also has some holiday exclusives that are not available in the catalog, including chocolate brownie tea. There's one that is ginger snap, I think, or
Oh, wow.
that's blood orange biscotti. Let's see, what is it? That's gingerbread. Mrs. Claus cranberry pie. That's an exclusive only to this. Cookie dough puer, my current favorite tea. Where is it? Oh, maple cinnamon waffles is there. Cranberries and cream fudge. Cinnamon sugar
Wow.
cookie. I wish I could find the one that's exclusive. Oh, naturally sweet candy cane. That's a good one. I can't find
That's
it.
a lot
there
of
are some
tea, but what a great gift.
yeah,
what a
so
great
these
gift for a
are
tea lover.
$69, I believe, plus tax. And great gift for you, great gift for others. And if you get that, you already qualify for the customer exclusive because it's over
The
the $65.
Frankenstein thing.
Yeah, so you can get this, and then you qualify for this, and you can get it. And hopefully, I can't promise it'll be there by Halloween, but hopefully. But you will get it even once
Yeah.
November starts, as long as it's ordered in the month of October.
Yeah, that's
so,
cool.
yeah.
Very nice.
Yes. Well, when are you going to produce a Lizzie Borden teapot? That's what I'm
Well,
waiting.
I don't produce anything. I am a consumer of delicious things that other people have produced and that other people have created. I know that I'm getting a it's not Lizzie Borden, but a Harry Potter cup which has like the Grim on it
Yes.
for the tea leaves. A friend of mine is giving that to me.
Oh, that's nice.
But so someone needs to make a Lizzie Borden
Oh.
teapot.
Yes, I just got back from vacation, and I went
What did you?
I went to the Dunbar Tea Room in Sandwich, Massachusetts, and
Oh.
they sell teapots there. And I got this one on vacation, and I
I can't
thought
see you, unfortunately.
Oh,
My screen is frozen, so
oh, you should
post a
reboot.
picture.
Oh, it's a pumpkin. It's a pumpkin.
with the
It's a
scarecrow,
pumpkin teapot. It's really beautiful.
which made me think it would be great to have a Lizzie teapot, and the pot could be her skirt. And we need Lizzie teacups too, with maybe prussic
Oh.
acid written on the bottom. You've been poisoned or something. I know there's a market for this, Rita. We're going to have to look into
Yeah.
this one.
There are people who make "You've Been Poisoned" teacups and other things like that with like cute sayings in the cute sayings. "You've been poisoned" is a cute saying in the bottom of them. Some really adorable things. I sometimes post them on my tea page when I come across something fun and interesting. But you're absolutely right. There is a market for that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
So,
I thought of something. A tea infuser that looks like an axe or a hatchet.
Yes.
There you go.
And the
We-
handle. Hey, all right. If you're out there, call us. We'll invest.
We will promote it.
Yes. Yes. So, Rena, thank you for coming on. I know you have a gig tonight, right?
No, I had last night and
Oh, it
the
was
night
last
before.
night. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
a late night. It's why I needed the turmeric tea this morning because
Yeah.
it was a late night.
Yeah.
Care
So,
of the dog. Yes.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend. A lot of
It
stuff.
is definitely our busy season. For those who don't know, I have a zombie punk cabaret that I perform with my husband. We have our own zombie punk band called the Flesh Junkies. And so especially if you're in Staten Island, we're performing all over. We're performing at Snug Harbor next weekend, and we're performing at the St. George Theater the weekend after.
They're
But we're
doing
also
Rocky Horror
performing-
Picture Show.
Yeah, we're the opening act for the movie. It's fun. I get to curse a lot on stage. It's really interesting. My school teacher persona gets to drop completely for that one. And we're also even performing in the Catskills and in Pennsylvania, in Lake Ariel, Pennsylvania. So if anyone
Nice.
is curious, they can
Nice.
reach out and find us, and we can
Yeah,
let you know where we'll be.
I'll vouch that they're a very, very interesting and fun band. I love the Flesh Junkies. I've had them on my Raw show a few times. Well, once, but
Once,
I've been out
we
to
had a
see
whole
them.
episode.
Yeah, and I mean they're just lot of fun. Oh, there you go. He put the link up for
There's
the
the-
Rena T link.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Again, I can't see.
Yeah. But I will shoot some pictures up too of the Flesh Junkie so they can see you, because it's I know this is your busy season. And our next show is going to be in December, so hopefully we'll be able to come up with some really cool Christmassy type teas.
Mint tea.
Yeah, I also have hot chocolates. There are
Oh, yeah.
dairy-free
Yeah.
hot chocolates that taste like rich dark chocolate that are available. And so maybe I'll make something with a hot chocolate. That
Yeah, I've
seems
gotten
very,
hot chocolates. I love them.
Very good. Yeah.
Well, I like all of them. I'll be honest. I like all of them except the orange. I'm not like a
They
big
didn't bring
fan.
the orange back this year.
Oh, they didn't. Okay.
Nope. They replaced it with raspberry hot chocolate.
Oh.
But the salted caramel is just my favorite. And the
Salted
peppermint,
caramel
I
is
love
my
that
favorite too. It's really good.
Yeah,
Really,
it's
really
really
good.
good.
This
You
is
can go to
for-
hell with yourself, right, with it?
I couldn't hear that. I'm sorry.
I said you can go to hell with yourself with all the hot chocolates and, yeah.
Yeah. But so that might be a fun drink for us to make, maybe something tea and hot chocolate, or matcha and hot chocolate maybe for
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah, I like that. I still do the chocolate matcha, which is
Mm-hmm.
really good.
Yes.
So,
I do matcha every day.
all right. So thanks for coming on, Rena,
Thanks
and
for
we will
having
see you
me.
next time. And
Christmas.
yeah, we'll see you at Christmas time, and I'll see you before then because we have things, the movie coming out, and
Yes.
like a
Yay.
whole bunch of things going on. So, all right. So we will talk to you next time. And we're going
Talk to
to
you
wrap up the show with our Lizzie Borden Shop giveaway. And for all the people that have been watching the show, we put you in a hat for a drawing. And we're giving away a Lizzie Borden mug this time. So I'm going to stick my finger in the jar as soon as I get it. So, Shelley, we're definitely going to have Ken back. Oh, there's the mug I'm giving away. So you'll get this if you.
I have not seen that mug before.
Well,
I love
it's in my shop, and then Albert Shivers did like his artwork on it, so you can see like there's a little red in it and stuff. He's a really, really good artist. So have
Looks
a few. What's that?
It looks like a generously sized cup, like a cup and a half, maybe.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a nice size cup. It is.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, drum
So,
roll.
all right, we're going to see who the winner is. The winner is. You'll laugh. Okay, so it is Judy Baker.
Judy Baker.
Judy Banville Baker.
Oh, yes, she lives in Fall River, not
Yeah.
too far from Maplecroft.
So-
and is a Oak Grove Cemetery fan, too.
Oh, good.
Hey, Judy.
Judy,
Okay.
so I'm going to be sending you the Lizzie Borden mug from the Lizzie Borden shop, and you can, just message me and give me your address and stuff, and I'll send it off to you. So, yay! So
Very-
that's pretty much it for tonight. We're going to wrap it up a little bit early, but Shelley, in December, we're having some writers on the podcast.
And I know they are. Very special folks are coming for
Yes.
a holiday episode. Yeah.
And
Maybe we'll drop a hint and see if people can guess who's coming.
oh, we could
Yeah.
do that.
Okay.
We could do that.
Let's, here's a hint. The incredible shrinking man. That's a clue.
That's a hint.
That's a clue.
Okay. Okay. We'll leave
Yeah.
it at that.
Yeah, and then maybe every day on our Facebook pages, maybe we'll leave a little hint and see if anyone guesses who's coming.
Who's coming to dinner?
Maybe there could be a prize for the first one to guess who our special guest is going to be.
Oh.
Instead of just telling you, this is a mystery site, and we need to train our viewers to follow the clues and come up with a solution. So, what do you think? Is that a good idea?
I don't know about every day, but maybe once a week.
Okay. All right. We'll each come up with clues. And I think there'll be two guests. It's two, correct?
It's two guests. I hope it's two guests. Yes. Hopefully it'll be two.
Mystery guests
Yes.
on Tea and Murder. I
Yeah.
like it.
It's like
I,
like mystery date. Oh, so we're gonna run some of the photos at the end that we said we were gonna do. So shall we talk to us a little bit, and then we're gonna be
yes,
off.
I will. Well, the late Leanne Wilbur is much beloved in the paranormal community. She was a wonderful person to work for. We miss her terribly, and Halloween was her favorite holiday. And so I was looking through many pictures, and these are pictures at the house on Halloween. And hopefully, you're going to see one of Leanne in a moment. Oh, Lizzie looking down the basement stairs. Just things I took at Halloween. This little
That's
girl
creepy.
here, yes, this was Halloween, I think probably around 2010. And there's a knock on the door at Second Street. I always worked on Halloween night reading tea leaves for anyone who stayed over that night. And there was this darling little girl dressed like Lizzie, little Victorian dress with a leg of mutton sleeves, and a tiny little hatchet. And this child was so adorable. We asked her to come in and pose in front of the black sofa in the sitting room. And she wasn't a bit nervous or a bit afraid. She knew the whole story and was fascinated by it at a young age. So started young folks on the Borden saga, and she agreed to pose. This was the pumpkin we had every year on Halloween, and Leanne always carved it, stuck a hatchet in the top of its little head, and its name was always Charlie. I'm not sure why, but every year he looked the same. And of course, everyone will remember her black cat, Max.
Mm.
And Max left us about 6 weeks or so after Leanne. Um,
Aw. He's
but
a handsome boy.
he's got a little hatchet if you look closely.
Yeah,
His
I'm seeing
little
that.
hatchet on his collar. And this was Halloween week with the mums and everything. And
Yeah.
I was doing a book signing for History of Oak Grove Cemetery, and he just happened to strike a pose that day.
Yeah, it's an
Uh,
awesome photo.
he was a
Yeah.
wonderful kitty, and we like to decorate Second Street for Christmas and for Halloween. It was her favorite holiday, and this is how
Mm.
I remember her. This was a shoot we did for Monster Quest, and she was playing Lizzie. And as I've gotten older and wider, I do Abby Borden. But we had a wonderful time with the crew from Monster Quest. The only time we ever had hair and makeup done, we had a lady come in and do that for us. And she was just tucking in the pillowcase, and I said, "Stop right there. That is the money shot." And I
Yeah.
love the of her, and we miss her so much.
Mm.
Just legions of friends. Oh, one Halloween I went out to visit Lizzie's grave, and it was the day after Halloween. Someone left her. It looks like a
A
kid.
Kit Kat.
So Lizzie was still trick or treating from beyond the grave, I guess. And this is Donald Woods,
Mm.
and I believe this is the first year they own the house. So that would have been October 2004. And that was the first Charlie, the first Charles,
Yeah.
Charles Pumpkin, and they both have those screaming hatchets that light up and make a racket. But they were like two kids, the first year they owned the property, and really enjoyed uh, the holiday and welcoming guests. And we had wonderful times on holiday, making special treats for the guests and decorating the house. I sure do miss that. Good times. Oh, just an imaginary, maybe what Lizzie would have looked like, handed out treats at Maplecroft. I've been told that trick or treating didn't come in till much later, uh, maybe 1930s, 1920s. But we can take a little artistic license. And Lizzie did have a black cat, by the way, and the cat's name was Blackie. The
Mm.
Fall River Historical Society has a picture of her black cat, Blackie. Lizzie had a formal photograph made of this cat, at Maplecroft. So she loved her black cats. And then, of course, Elizabeth Montgomery, the other Lizzie, who played Lizzie in The Legend of Lizzie Borden.
That's a
has
kind of a scary statue of her, kind of.
so too. I think
Yeah.
Elizabeth Montgomery was much prettier than that.
Yeah.
But we wanted to have the two Lizzies together for Halloween, and Lizzie B here has her little pumpkin and broom, and so we take a lot of liberties.
Aw.
And once again, we'd like to close with a couple of pictures I took of Leanne at 2nd Street. This is on the side door, and Max just happened to walk up and stop at that exact moment and to capture that shot. And
Yeah.
this
Great
was
photo.
a lot, in her obituaries and online. This photo as a love for her. We still can't believe she's gone.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's the last photo we have that we
The
brought.
last photo.
Well, thanks for sharing those photos. They're really nice. Really
good
nice
one.
memories.
No. Well, okay, I guess we're going to get busy on December's podcast.
Yep.
And, tune in at least once a week for a clue. I think you'll be very surprised about who will be showing up in December.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Shelley. Well, I have the rest of the Happy Halloween for you. I know it's your favorite holiday.
It's my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
My bat dress on and my little, this is the wrong side, spider web. And if you can see behind me, there's an awful lot of orange lights going on.
Stuff going on there.
And in Ken's honor, I had a little flickering spirit
ghost.
was going to show up. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So we're in the mood. We're in the spirit. Happy
Yes, you are.
Halloween, everybody. Have a safe Halloween.
You too. And I'll talk to you soon.
You know what?
All right. And thank you, everyone, for tuning into our podcast. We're really glad you come out and, listen to our guests and hopefully learn something. Or, if you ever want to tell us something, please share with us, anytime. Type out, I would say send us an email, or, you're on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, you use. And just, we're pretty open.
Ken says he'll be coming back.
Yes.
We barely got started with Ken.
I know.
had more wanted to ask. Fascinating man. Very straightforward. I like his approach to the paranormal. I do very much.
Yeah. And I will put his information up so you can go and see that Lizzie Borden investigation he did at the house.
Yeah. And I will too. We'll share that.
Because I have that link. So, all right. So until next time, everybody, we'll see you then. Have a good night.